Alright, it looks like everything is up and ready. Let me just go ahead and check. Oh, it says we're on, but okay, cool. We are here. Let me just make sure I'm online. Alright, it says I'm live. Excuse me. Alright, it says I'm live. Excuse me. Alright, it says I'm live. Excuse me. Alright, it says I'm live. And we don't need that anymore. We're good to go. So, sorry about that. I'm still getting things set up to make sure everything's running good for you. Welcome to Home of the Neon Alliance, the first and only call-in show dedicated to the simulation hypothesis. I'm the one and only RAO. I'll be your host today. And today we are going to talk about something Elon Musk said. I'm going to look it up, but I'll be basically paraphrasing it. Right, let's see. Okay, so it's looking good. Elon Musk, and I'm going to be paraphrasing this like I said, he basically says 45 years ago we had Pong. 2 lines and a dot. And they just sat on a screen bouncing back and forth, and that's what we had. So now we have photorealistic quality. We have surround sound, as you can see, as we all use our headsets and all that kind of stuff. We're getting more in-depth 3D worlds. If we assume any progress whatsoever, then eventually we are going to have simulations that we cannot differentiate from real life. And Moore's law states that the density of computation will double every 2 years, meaning that either the device is going to get smaller or the data it can hold is going to get bigger. Now, Moore's law isn't necessarily concrete. It's not like the laws of physics or anything like that. It's basically something that worked for a while, but it seems that Moore's law is slowing down. However, with quantum computers, it's not going to be long before quantum computers are actually more powerful than our computers in a home model. I want to say not long. I'm talking probably 5 to 15 years, which isn't that much. But once we get into quantum computers, we're going to have Moore's law basically getting reinstated. So we can count on progress in computation. And according to Elon Musk, and this is one of the things that I agree with him on, is that if we're capable of doing this, if we ever get to a point where we are capable of making these simulations, then the chances are 1 in billions that we are in reality prime. And this is circumstantial evidence. It's all about like the philosophy and likelihood. It's creating the probability. And what I basically mean by that is that all these situations are possible. However, probability has to take some kind of effect when you're talking about what's the most likely explanation for our reality. Where if you go into the simulation hypothesis just with this, you see that our chances are potentially 1 in billions that we're in reality prime. Meaning that we are almost certainly in a simulation. Again, to touch on Nick Bostrom, what I was talking about last week, is that Nick Bostrom's also saying that it's more likely than not that we're in a simulation just because of the possibilities. Because I don't find it likely that civilizations don't reach that point, because we're almost there. We're at the cusp of it. I don't want to say that civilizations aren't interested in doing it, because we're still interested in it. I can't wait to get another not Sims game, but another SimCity game. I haven't played SimCity in a long time, and it's always been a fascinating game for me. So the third option is that we're most likely in a simulation. And it fits, it works. So now we have a philosopher and an inventor who have both said that this is how it looks like our reality works. I tend to agree with them. Now, Nick Bostrom is looking more toward ancestor simulations, while Elon Musk is looking more at the recreational side of it. And that's another place where I'm going to be leaning more toward Elon Musk's philosophy, because I think it would be mainly a source of entertainment. And we are still waiting to get some of those calls in. We've got the number right across the bottom of the screen, right down here, 307-363-1230. And you can feel free to call. Tell me if you agree with the simulation hypothesis. Tell me if you don't agree with the simulation hypothesis. And give me your thoughts on what it is, on what it could be, what it might be. I want to hear it. I want to know. We are opening up the call lines now, so I'm going to go ahead and how do I do this? How do I get people in here? That's the question. Because I've got this on one of the YouTube groups I'm in, the Simulation Theory, and I post it to mine as well. And I need to find more channels, more avenues to get through, to kind of spread out and let people be able to talk to me, because that's what this show is all about. It's a call-in show. We're here for the dialogue. We're here to listen to you, talk to you. We're here to teach. We're here to learn, all of it. And I don't really work with a script, because I plan on having those calls and I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about, but without more dialogue, and maybe a co-host would be better as well, because this is just me talking to you, and it's a good thing, but if I had some dialogue here, someone to back and forth with, that would be optimal. I mean, that would be a decent show from what I could tell. I've tried to get some co-hosts in. It's just hard for me to find anyone regular. Let's see. Yeah, the phone lines are completely open. Actually, I think I've got an idea. Somebody who likes me. All right, I just put that in the I just put that in one of my Facebook groups so that we could have someone to, so that we might be able to have someone calling in. But as I was saying before, I I personally agree with the 1 in billions because of Skyrim. Now, I've got maybe six different save files for different characters in Skyrim. It's been on so many platforms that it's got, I if we count them all, I probably had 20 or 30 different uh profiles, different save states for Skyrim, for Elder Scrolls 5. So if we take this and we calculate it to how many copies of the game were sold, imagine everybody having about 5 or 6 save profiles for every game. We're looking at millions upon millions upon, well, at least 10 to 20 million different places that started from the same place and time relative to the simulation Elder Scrolls 5. That's one game. That's just one game. Now, we've also got No Man's Sky. And in this one, like, makes a generated galaxy universe that you go exploring. And as you explore it, it opens up more for other people to see it. So you're not just making your reality, when you observe something for the first time, you're making that reality in the network. And that's got the potential for a lot that we potentially see, is that you've got this open space that doesn't have anything in it, and then when you go to it, it auto-generates. But then once you've been there, the next person who goes, it doesn't auto-generate for them. They see the thing that you saw the first time you got there. And that actually goes deeper into the double slit experiment and the quantum eraser double slit. We're going to have another stream more dedicated to the double slit experiment because that one is a whole topic on its own. Let's do that next week. We could do that one next week because that's one of the cornerstones of the simulation hypothesis is that double slit experiment. So I think it'd be best to understand that before we get too far into the simulation hypothesis. Man, that was a short little. Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson had his 2 cents on that. He was saying that the chances are 50-50 because we haven't made simulations that can make simulations. So we're either in the top one or the bottom one. We're either in reality prime or we're in the last, or yeah, that's all he's saying, is that we're on the bottom level since we haven't made simulations that make simulations. But between reality prime and where we are could have an it's got an indefinite amount of levels between them. I just don't know how many. And like I say, I could be wrong about the entire simulation, but when we're going to talk about the universe being simulated, we have to kind of presuppose that and then get into if we can falsify it. But if we're in a simulation, then there could be thousands, millions, billions of levels between there and us. So the fact that we haven't made self-simulating simulations yet just means that we haven't done it yet. So even if we're on the very bottom of this, it doesn't necessarily make the chances 50-50. So that's the difference between Neil deGrasse Tyson and Elon Musk's ideas on it, really. And trying to think more topics along this line of, like, according to this, why would we do it? Like, we have flight simulators. We're starting to get into combat simulators. It's potentially a training ground. That's one of many reasons that this is some kind of training ground. Dark Matter 2525 had this entire series called Power Corrupts. And in this series, he was using Yahweh, the Abrahamic God, as the main character in part of a social sciences class where they were trying to figure out who was fit to lead our civilization based on how they would run a civilization with infinite power, thinking that they were a god. I mean, it's a really cool story, but that is one potential of what's going on, is that we're getting put here to see where we should be in the next reality. And a lot of these get deep into the woo. It's kind of hard not to. So let me reiterate. Back with Skyrim has a development team of over 100 people. And they're all just normal, regular people. A lot of them have more degrees than I do, but these are just regular people making video games. So if that's what I think about these people in our reality making video games, then I can't add a God claim to it, because it's another matter of infinite regress. Well, if their reality exists, do they have a simulation above their reality? Yeah, or is their reality a simulation of another reality? And I don't even think we can start talking about any God question unless we first determine if this is or isn't reality prime. Because if this isn't reality prime, we could be talking about a player, a dev team, a list of players. All these possibilities, none of them equal God. So it's hard for me to imagine the God claim even alongside the simulation hypothesis. And like I said, we had that line still open and ready for us. That phone line is open, waiting for your calls. And you'll notice the light there. That's because the internet. When I switch over to another page, especially my Google Voice, I don't have it on night mode, so that light hits me different. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can change the settings to change it to dark mode. So it doesn't do that every time I have to switch over. Oh. I can't find it. Grr. Accessibility settings page. Oof. Nope, that's not it. That is not it at all. So, yeah, just bear with me when that light's on. Just know it'll be temporary. Let's see. We're 20 minutes into this video, and usually I'll be doing some gaming or something like that with my regular streams. I want to keep this one dedicated to the simulation hypothesis, but I think we're going to have to do something about this dead space, because while I don't have any calls going on and we're not really talking about anything, it might be good to be playing a game like Black and White, SimCity, something along those lines, just to have something to do, have something that's on topic, so I might be able to have more things come up. But this show is nothing without you. I mean, like, literally, it's a call-in show, so I really can't do a call-in show without calls. Let's see. And I'm going to be trying to get some more people in. Maybe as callers, maybe as guest hosts. And with the pandemic, it's going to be a lot easier to get remote hosts than it was, because I tried that before and it was a disaster. I'll talk to my friend Oz about how he does the Google Voice between two different calls, because there could be a way for me to share what I've got going over there so they can hear the Google Voice call when it comes in. But I think that's all we're going to be doing today. I think this is just going to be this half-hour video. We'll keep doing this. We're going to get more regular, have shows coming in every week so that we can build an audience, so that people know when to call in, and just start going from there, because that's what we're trying to get done, is like make a call-in show for the simulation hypothesis. But other than that, you can find me on YouTube at the one and only RAO, all one word. For my gaming site, that's where I'll be doing challenge runs and speed runs, that kind of thing. Sometimes just random gaming videos. And you can find me on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/one and only RAO. I'll be there as well, and you'll be able to get me doing my regular gaming there. Lately, I've been doing my speed runs and some Tony Hawk, but it changes up all the time. So just catch me on Twitch. I'm there daily right around this time, unless I'm doing the show. But I had fun. Next week, we're going to be talking about the double slit experiment and its implications. So join me then, and hopefully we'll get some more calls. Well, hopefully we'll get some calls. But until next time, keep it real.